the Pistis Sophia, Gnostic text hidden in the Egyptian sounds. For 16 centuries there is a moment the church never wanted you to read. The scene is set in a private chamber, 11 years after the resurrection. The public ministry is over. The miracles for the masses are done. Now, the master is teaching the advanced physics of the soul to his inner circle. Mary Magdalene, the one who understood him best, steps forward. Her voice trembles, not with fear, but with the weight of the question she is about to ask. She asks, "Lord, how can the chosen ones protect themselves when the rulers of this world, the Archons, attack the mind? How do we fight the invisible?" Jesus does not give her a prayer. He does not tell her to fall to her knees and beg God for mercy. He does not offer a psalm of comfort. Instead, he speaks one word in Aramaic, one single word, a word that carries a frequency so precise, so dangerous, and so authoritative that when the early church fathers translated the scriptures, they made a calculated decision to bury it. They replaced it with something powerless, something passive, something that would turn warriors into beggars. You are always meant to have authority. Right now, place your hand over your chest. Close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm you feel is the ancient war drum of your soul. It is the same rhythm that was present when this teaching was first spoken 2,000 years ago. You are not watching this by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. Something older did. Something that recognizes the spark inside you. You have felt it your entire life, haven't you? The sense that you do not belong in this system. The gnawing feeling that the world around you is a stage play, and everyone else is reading a script you never agreed to. The exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. That feeling is not depression. It is not anxiety. It is recognition. You are a pneumatica carrier of the spirit. You carry the divine spark of the monad within you, and the Archons, the architects of this false reality, have been working overtime to make you forget who you are. Tonight, the amnesia ends. I am going to give you something that was stolen from humanity 17 centuries ago. Not a concept, not a philosophy, not a positive affirmation. I am going to give you the exact Aramaic word Jesus used to make Archons flee. 3 syllables, 1 frequency, instant authority. But before I place this weapon in your hands, you must understand the nature of the enemy. You must understand why they hid it, and why your soul has been searching for exactly this word your entire life. To understand the power of the word, you must first understand the architecture of the prison. The Gnostic texts found at Nag Hammadi describe a universe far different from the one Sunday school taught you. They teach that at the highest level of existence is the monadla true source. Pure, unadulterated consciousness, love without condition, light without shadow. But we are not there. We are in a realm constructed by a lesser being, a blind, arrogant craftsman, the Gnostics, called the demiurge. The demiurge believes itself to be God. It demands worship. It creates rules, hierarchies, lists of sins, and systems of control. It thrives on obedience. It rules over this material realm with the help of its servants, the Archons, the rulers. These are not metaphors for bad thoughts. These are autonomous, energetic forces, operating at frequencies just beyond human perception. Paul, the apostle, knew this. He warned in Ephesians 6:12, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." And here's the secret they never wanted you to understand. You are not from here. The divine spark within you, that fragment of the monad, did not originate in this constructed reality. It fell out. It was trapped here in matter. The Archons feed on the energy of the trapped. They feed on the vibrational output of fear, desperation, guilt, and begging. Every institution, every media cycle, every religious dogma that keeps you small and afraid exists for one purpose: to keep the food supply running. Jesus, in the Gnostic understanding, was not a sacrifice sent to appease an angry God. He was an emissary from the pleroma, the fullness. He was a rescue mission. He came to remind the chosen ones of their origin and to give them the keys to unlock the cell from the inside. His public teachings were surface-level ethics for the masses, but his private teachings recorded in the Pistis Sophia contained the actual mechanisms of liberation. When Mary Magdalene asked about protection, Jesus knew that a prayer would not work. You cannot beg a parasite to stop eating you. You cannot negotiate with a virus. You must sever the connection. When the Church Fathers translated the Scriptures in the 4th century, they faced a crisis. They were building an empire. Empires require subjects. Subjects must be dependent. If an individual could command archonic forces to flee simply by speaking with the authority of the monad, what purpose would the priest serve? What purpose would the Church serve? A sovereign being is ungovernable. So, they made a calculated choice, a linguistic crime. They translated the word of command into a word of request. They took a declaration and turned it into a prayer. They removed your sword and gave you a begging bowl. In the modern Bible, when Jesus confronts demons, the translations say, he rebuked them, or he told them to depart. It sounds polite. It sounds passive. But in the original Aramaic, the language Jesus actually spoke, the vibration is violently different. The word Jesus spoke was pra, pronounced pra, one syllable. Sharp. Definitive. Absolute. In Aramaic, the root pra or prak implies a specific action. To break off, to sever, to release from bondage, to cut the rope. It is not a request for the entity to leave. It is the act of cutting the energetic cord that ties the entity to you. It is the sound of liberation. Imagine a prisoner chained to a wall. The Church tells the prisoner to say, "Please, Master, let me go." Jesus told the prisoner to say, "Break." The difference is authority. The Archons do not respond to English words. They do not care about your politeness. They react to and the frequency of prawan spoken with gnosis knowledge is a frequency of severance that they cannot withstand. It creates a vibrational environment where a parasite cannot remain attached. But simply knowing the word is not enough. The Church wasn't afraid of the word leaking out as a magic spell. They knew that words without power are empty shells. They removed the 3 components of activation that Jesus taught alongside the word. Without these 3 keys, the word is just noise. With them, it is a weapon. The activation protocol. I am now going to give you the 3 components. This is not education. This is activation. If you are ready to reclaim your sovereignty, listen closely. Component 1. The recognition identity shift. Before you speak the word, you must shift your identity. The Archons attach to the sinner, the victim, the human. They cannot attach to the monad. Close your eyes. Feel the space behind your forehead. You must recognize that you are not your name. You are not your trauma. You are a fractal of the divine source. You must speak from the position of the divine. A king does not beg a thief to leave his throne room. He commands it, because the throne is his. Component 2. The imperative command voice. The Aramaic construction is imperative. You are not asking God to do it for you. Jesus said, "Behold, I give you authority." You must speak with the command voice. This is not shouting. It is a cold, hard certainty. It is the certainty of gravity. When you drop a stone, it falls. When you speak pra, the Archon leaves. It is a law of physics, not a hope. Component 3. The somatic vibration, the chest's resonance. This is the secret the mystics guarded. The word pra must be spoken from the heart center, not the throat or the head. It must vibrate the sternum. Put your hand on your chest right now. When you speak the word, you should feel the bones of your chest vibrate against your hand. This activates the electromagnetic field of the heart, which is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. This field is the shield. Here is the 7-night protocol. Tonight, before you sleep, turn off the lights. Sit in silence. Place your hand over your heart. Take 3 deep breaths to release the day. Visualize the cords, the dark, energetic feeding tubes connecting you to fear, anxiety, and the matrix. And then, from the depth of your monadic spark, speak the word. pra. Feel it shatter the chords, then sit in silence for 7 breaths. Do not look for angels. Do not look for demons. Just observe the silence. Repeat this for 7 nights. Here is what the chosen ones report. Night 1. You may feel resistance. Vivid, strange dreams as the Archons try to reattach. Stand firm. Night 3. The static clears. The obsessive thoughts, the loop in your mind, the anxiety about the future, the guilt about the past suddenly stop. There is a gap of peace. Night 7. The frequency shift becomes permanent. You become invisible to them. You are vibrating at a rate they cannot touch. And here is the confirmation. People who are heavily influenced by Archons, the narcissists, the energy vampires, the controllers, will suddenly avoid you. They will feel uncomfortable in your presence. They won't know why. They are reacting to the severance. Their food source has been cut off. This is not rejection. This is liberation. What I have given you tonight is not new information. It is recovered memory. For 17 centuries, this teaching was buried in jars, burned in piles, and mistranslated in pulpits to keep you powerless. The church replaced command with a request. They replaced sovereignty with submission. They replaced the sword of the Spirit with a begging bowl. But the timeline has shifted. You found this video. Out of millions of people scrolling past, distracted by the circus of the world, you stopped. That is not a coincidence. That is the divine spark within you, recognizing the frequency of truth. The word pra is now yours. The authority is yours. The chain is unbroken. From Jesus to Mary Magdalene, to the Gnostics who died protecting these texts, to the farmer who found them in 1945, to this moment right now. You are the next link. Do not just listen to this. Do not just consume it as content. Use it tonight. Break the chains. If you have received this teaching, if you feel the truth of it resonating in your chest like a bell, comment the words, I am sovereign. Let the other chosen ones see your declaration. Let the Archons see it too. You are no longer hiding. You are no longer food. You are the monad, awake in the dream.